Batman, Gotham's Night, Volume 3, Number 11. 100 to 1. Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 1, Mortals, Part 3. The Royal Hotel stood above Gotham like a giant stone monument. Its windows reflected the lights of the city. Cars moved along the streets below. People entered and exited through the main doors, completely unaware of what was happening inside. Batman stood across the street. His cape moved slightly in the wind. He looked up. The Royal Hotel. Black Mask was somewhere inside. After everything that had happened over the past several weeks, Batman finally had a chance to confront Roman Sionis directly. But Bruce knew better than to assume it would be easy. Black Mask had survived. He had escaped. He had hired assassins. He had manipulated Penguin. And now he was hiding inside one of the most heavily guarded buildings in Gotham. Batman touched the communicator in his cowl. Alfred. Yes, Master Bruce? I'm at the Royal Hotel. Understood. I'll contact you when I find Sionis. Please be careful, sir. Batman looked toward the entrance. I will. He disconnected. Batman crossed the street. He stepped toward the entrance and stopped. Someone was standing inside. A man wearing tactical armor, a sword hanging from his back, a rifle attached to his equipment. Orange and black mask covered his face. Batman recognized him immediately. Deathstroke. Slade Wilson. Deathstroke tilted his head. So, Batman said nothing. You're the Bat. Batman slowly raised his fists. You're in my way. Deathstroke smiled. That's usually where I like to be. He pulled his sword. Batman immediately moved. Deathstroke swung. Batman ducked. The sword cut through the air above his head. Batman stepped inside his reach and punched him in the ribs. Deathstroke grunted. He countered with an elbow. Batman blocked it. Deathstroke kicked. Batman caught the kick. Deathstroke twisted and used his free leg to sweep Batman's feet. Batman fell. He rolled before Deathstroke could follow. Batman came back up. Deathstroke charged. Batman blocked the first punch, then the second. Deathstroke's third strike connected with Batman's jaw. Batman staggered. Deathstroke grabbed his cape. Batman twisted around and slammed his elbow into Deathstroke's face. Deathstroke released him. Batman followed with a punch. Deathstroke blocked. Batman punched again. Deathstroke blocked again. The two moved across the hotel entrance. A table shattered. A lamp fell. Several hotel guests screamed and ran. Deathstroke grabbed Batman and threw him into a wall. Batman hit the wall hard. Deathstroke rushed him. Batman raised both legs and kicked Deathstroke backward. Deathstroke hit the floor. Batman jumped. Deathstroke rolled. Batman landed. Deathstroke came up behind him. Batman turned. Deathstroke punched. Batman blocked. Batman punched. Deathstroke blocked. They traded blows. Neither could gain a clear advantage. Batman grabbed Deathstroke's arm. Deathstroke grabbed Batman's. They struggled. Batman headbutted him. Deathstroke stumbled. Batman grabbed him and slammed him onto the floor. Deathstroke rolled away. Batman reached for a batarang. Deathstroke kicked it from his hand. Batman grabbed Deathstroke's leg. He pulled. Deathstroke fell. Batman mounted him. Deathstroke punched Batman in the ribs. Batman grunted. Deathstroke punched again. Batman grabbed his wrist. He slammed it against the floor. Deathstroke tried to reach his sword. Batman kicked it away. Deathstroke looked toward it, then back at Batman. Smart. Batman grabbed him. He threw Deathstroke across the lobby. Deathstroke crashed into the front desk. Batman immediately followed. Deathstroke swung. Batman ducked. Batman punched him directly in the stomach. Deathstroke doubled over. Batman grabbed him from behind and slammed him onto the floor. He pulled out restraints. Deathstroke struggled. Batman forced his arms behind his back. The restraints locked. Deathstroke looked up. You got lucky. Batman stood. No, he looked down at him. You were predictable. Batman dragged Deathstroke toward the entrance. He tied him securely to a large decorative pillar. Then he turned away. Deathstroke laughed. You're not gonna kill me? No, why? Batman stopped. Because I'm not you. Then Batman walked inside. Deathstroke watched him disappear. The Royal Hotel was enormous. Batman moved through the halls. Two black masked thugs rounded the corner. Batman struck the first one before he could react. The second pulled a gun. Batman threw a batarang. The gun fell. Batman grabbed the man's jacket and slammed him against the wall. Where's Sionis? The thug refused to answer. Batman dropped him. Another group came running. Batman charged. The first thug swung. Batman ducked. He punched him. The second tried to tackle him. Batman sidestepped. The thug crashed into a wall. A third came from behind. Batman kicked backward. The man dropped. Two more attacked. Batman grabbed one and used him as a shield against the other's punch. Then Batman shoved him aside. He fired his grapnel toward the ceiling. The cable pulled him upward. He swung over the men. Batman landed behind them. Both turned. Too late. Batman struck them both. They fell. Batman continued moving. Room after room, hall after hall. Everywhere he went, Black Mask's men tried to stop him, and every time, Batman kept moving. Eventually, he reached the upper floors. He stopped outside one particular room. There were two armed guards. Batman stepped into the hallway. The guards raised their guns. Batman threw two batarangs. Both guns fell. Batman grabbed the first guard. He slammed him into the wall. The second charged. Batman ducked. The guard hit the first. Batman kicked the second in the chest. He fell. Batman opened the door. Inside was Roman Sionis, Black Mask. He stood in front of a massive table covered in electronic equipment. Dozens of detonators, maps, wires, explosives, photographs of buildings throughout Gotham. Black Mask slowly turned. Batman. Batman stepped inside. Roman. Black Mask smiled. I was wondering when you'd finally make it here. Batman looked at the table. What is all this? Black Mask spread his arms. Insurance. Batman stared at the detonators. You've rigged buildings throughout Gotham. Not just buildings. Black Mask picked up one of the detonators. Bridges. He picked up another. Construction sites. Another. Warehouses. Batman stepped forward. You're bluffing. Black Mask smiled. Am I? He pressed a button. Batman immediately looked toward the window. Far away, an abandoned construction site exploded. The entire building collapsed into a cloud of dust. Batman froze. Black Mask laughed. You know what your problem is? Batman stared at him. You care. Black Mask pointed toward the detonators. You'll always choose the innocent. Batman slowly stepped closer. You're right. Black Mask smiled. And that's why I win. Batman suddenly punched him. Crack! Black Mask's head snapped backward. His mask cracked across the side. Roman stumbled. Batman grabbed him by the collar. You don't win. Black Mask laughed through the cracked mask. You think this changes anything? Batman raised his fist. Then, a wall exploded. Batman was thrown sideways. KG Beast stepped through the hole. Batman immediately got up. KG Beast charged. Batman blocked the first punch. KG Beast's second punch struck his chest. Batman staggered. KG Beast grabbed. Batman punched him in the face. KG Beast barely moved. Batman punched him again. This time KG Beast stumbled. Batman followed with a third punch. KG Beast recovered. He grabbed Batman by the throat. Batman kicked him in the knee. KG Beast released him. Batman struck him across the jaw. KG Beast responded with a brutal punch. Batman flew backward. He crashed through the window. Glass exploded around him. Batman landed on the balcony. He rolled. KG Beast stepped through the broken window. Batman stood. KG Beast jumped. Batman barely moved. KG Beast landed on the balcony. Batman swung. KG Beast blocked. KG Beast punched. Batman blocked. Batman countered. KG Beast grabbed his arm. Batman twisted. KG Beast slammed him against the balcony railing. Batman groaned. He kicked KG Beast away. KG Beast charged. Batman jumped. KG Beast's fist struck the railing. Batman landed behind him. Batman kicked him in the back. KG Beast stumbled. Batman grabbed him. He tried to throw him over the railing. KG Beast stopped him. KG Beast turned. He grabbed Batman, then threw him. Batman went over the railing. His grapnel fired. The hook caught the side of the hotel. Batman swung downward. KG Beast jumped after him. Batman landed on the rooftop of the lower section of the Royal Hotel. KG Beast landed seconds later. Batman raised his fists. KG Beast did the same. Neither spoke. They charged. Batman punched. KG Beast blocked. KG Beast punched. Batman ducked. Batman struck him in the ribs. KG Beast grunted. Batman hit him again, then again. KG Beast grabbed Batman's arm. Batman twisted. KG Beast pulled. Batman flew toward him. KG Beast slammed his metal arm into Batman's chest. Batman hit the rooftop. He rolled. He got up. KG Beast was already there. Batman blocked. KG Beast punched. Batman blocked another punch. Batman blocked a third. Batman barely blocked it. KG Beast kicked Batman's leg. Batman fell to one knee. KG Beast grabbed him. Batman drove his fist into KG Beast's stomach. KG Beast staggered. Batman punched him across the face. KG Beast turned his head back slowly. Batman breathed heavily. KG Beast smiled. Then he hit him. Once, twice, 3 times. Batman stumbled backward. KG Beast grabbed him. He slammed Batman into the rooftop. Batman tried to get up. KG Beast kicked him. Batman rolled. KG Beast grabbed his cape. Batman pulled himself free. He fired a batarang. KG Beast caught it. Batman charged. KG Beast threw the Batarang aside. Batman punched. KG Beast blocked. Batman punched again. KG Beast blocked. Batman kicked. KG Beast caught his leg. KG Beast threw him. Batman landed hard, his vision blurred. He tried to stand. KG Beast grabbed him by the throat. Batman punched him. Once. Twice. KG Beast didn't release him. Batman punched again. KG Beast finally threw him across the roof. Batman hit the ground. He tried to move. His arms wouldn't respond. KG Beast walked toward him. Batman looked up. The world began to fade. Then he saw something. A news helicopter. Above the hotel. A woman was inside. Vicki Vale. She was looking through a camera. Her pilot kept the helicopter steady. "Keep it there," Vicki shouted. The camera zoomed in. For the first time, Gotham saw him. The Batman. Not a rumor. Not a shadow. Not a story. Real. Vicki looked through the camera. Got him? Batman tried to stand. He couldn't. KG Beast looked down at him. Then darkness. Bruce opened his eyes. He was back there. The alley. The night his parents died. Thomas. Martha. The gunshot. The blood. The darkness. Bruce tried to move. He couldn't. A massive shadow appeared above him. A bat. Not a normal bat. Something enormous. Something monstrous. It wrapped its wings around him. Bruce tried to breathe. The creature squeezed tighter. He couldn't breathe. He clawed at it. Nothing. The darkness swallowed him. Then a voice. "Wake up." Bruce struggled. "Wake up." The creature tightened its grip. "Wake up." Bruce screamed. He opened his eyes. He back on the rooftop. The helicopter was gone. KG Beast was gone. Black Mask was gone. Batman slowly sat up. His entire body hurt. He looked toward the sky. A helicopter was disappearing into the distance. Batman reached into his belt. One tracking device remained. He loaded it into his grapnel. He aimed. Fired. The tiny tracker shot through the air. It attached itself to the bottom of the helicopter. Batman lowered the weapon. "Got you." Batman eventually made his way back inside the hotel. The explosives were still there. But Black Mask was gone. So was KG Beast. Batman checked the detonators. He began disarming them, one after another. He couldn't stop thinking about the people who could have died. The construction site. The hotel. Gotham. Black Mask had known exactly what he was doing. He knew Batman wouldn't ignore innocent lives. Batman looked toward the shattered window. Then he remembered Deathstroke. Batman returned to the entrance. The pillar was empty. The restraints were cut. Deathstroke was gone. Batman stared at the empty space. "Great." He touched his communicator. "Alfred?" "Yes, Master Bruce?" Black Mask escaped. Alfred paused. "And Deathstroke?" "Gone." "Are you injured?" Batman looked down at himself. His suit was torn. His breathing was painful. "Yes. How badly?" Batman looked toward the city. "Bad enough." Alfred sighed. "Master Bruce, I have a tracker on KG Beast." Silence. Then Alfred said, "Of course you do." Batman looked out over Gotham. For the first time, he noticed something else. Lights were coming on throughout the city. People were looking toward the hotel. Police cars were arriving. News helicopters circled overhead. Somewhere, Vicki Vale was probably already telling Gotham what she'd seen. Batman stood alone on the rooftop. The city had seen him. The myth had become real. The Batman had finally stepped out of the shadows. And now there was no going back. Batman fired his grapnel. He disappeared into the night. End. Batman Gotham's Night, Volume 3, Number 12. The Friday After. Saga 1, God's Monsters and Mortals, Part 3. Gotham was quiet after midnight. Not peaceful, quiet. There was a difference. Batman moved across the rooftops, leaving the Royal Hotel behind him. His ribs still hurt, his arm was still sore, his suit was damaged, and somewhere in the city, Black Mask was still alive. KG Beast was gone. Deathstroke was gone. And now Gotham knew Batman was real. He had a lot to think about. Then his communicator beeped. Batman stopped. He activated it. Montoya? Renee Montoya's voice came through. "Batman, what happened? I've got a murder scene." Batman looked toward the street below. "Where?" She gave him the location. "What makes it different?" There was a pause. 3 bodies. Batman frowned. "Same location. Any witnesses?" "Not that we found." "Who called it in?" "Someone walking home." Batman looked toward the skyline. "I'll be there." "Batman." He stopped. "What?" "Be careful." Batman looked down at the city. "I will." The communication ended. Batman fired his grapnel. The crime scene was in a quiet section of Gotham. Police cars surrounded the area, but Batman didn't approach through the street. He landed on a nearby rooftop and looked down. 3 bodies. 3 different deaths. 3 different symbols. Batman dropped silently into the alley. Montoya saw him. She didn't draw her weapon. She simply nodded. You made it. Batman looked at the bodies. Tell me. Montoya stepped aside. The first victim, Batman looked. A woman was lying inside a shopping cart. Her body had been positioned carefully. The cart itself was surrounded by discarded shopping bags. Batman crouched beside her. He examined the body. No obvious gunshot, no knife wound, no immediate sign of robbery. He looked at the shopping cart, then at the bags. Black Friday, Montoya nodded. That's what we're thinking. Batman didn't answer. He moved to the second body. A man. A turkey had been placed over his head. Batman examined the body. Again, no obvious weapon. No obvious connection between the victims. Batman looked at the turkey. Thanksgiving? Montoya nodded. Exactly. Batman moved to the third victim, a man lying several feet away. His back had been badly beaten. Batman crouched. He carefully examined the man's spine. The injuries were deliberate, not random. Not an ordinary assault. Batman looked at the calendar on his wrist display. December 5th. He looked back at the victim. December 5th. Montoya understood. National Back Friday. Batman nodded. The Friday after Black Friday. Montoya looked at the 3 victims. Black Friday. Thanksgiving. National Back Friday. Batman stood. 3 holidays. Montoya folded her arms. But Thanksgiving isn't in December. No. So why now? Batman looked around the crime scene. That's the question. He walked toward the surrounding buildings. No forced entry. No obvious escape route. No footprints that hadn't already been contaminated by police. Batman examined a nearby trash can. Nothing. He checked a drain. Nothing. He looked at a wall. Nothing. Then he noticed something. A tiny piece of paper stuck underneath the shopping cart. Batman carefully removed it. There was writing on it. 3 words. The calendar continues. Batman stared at it. Montoya walked over. Batman Gotham's Night, Volume 3, Number 12. Black Friday. Saga 1, God's Monsters and Mortals. Part 1, Mortals, Part 3. Gotham was quiet after midnight. Not peaceful, quiet. There was a difference. Batman moved across the rooftops, still feeling the bruises from the Royal Hotel. Deathstroke was gone. Black Mask was gone. KG Beast was gone. And Gotham had seen him. For the first time, the Batman wasn't just something criminals whispered about. He was real. Batman landed on a rooftop and looked across the city. Then his communicator beeped. Batman touched the side of his cowl. Montoya. Renee Montoya's voice came through. Batman. He paused. You don't normally call me. I know. She sounded tired. What happened? We've got a strange one. How strange? There was a pause. 3 bodies. Same location? Same connected? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Batman looked toward the streets below. Where? Montoya gave him the address. Batman fired his grapnel. I'll be there. The crime scene was underneath a streetlight. Police tape surrounded the area. Montoya stood beside one of the patrol cars, staring at the bodies. She looked up when Batman landed nearby. You came. You called. Montoya glanced at him. I wasn't sure if you would. Batman looked past her. 3 victims? 3. Same killer? That's what it looks like. Batman walked beneath the police tape. The first victim was a woman. She was lying inside a shopping cart. Batman stopped. He looked at the cart, then at the woman. What happened? Montoya shook her head. We don't know yet. Batman crouched. There were no obvious defensive wounds, no gunshot, no knife, no obvious weapon nearby. Batman looked at the shopping cart again. Black Friday. Montoya stared at him. What? The cart. Batman pointed toward it. Black Friday. Montoya looked confused. You're saying the shopping cart represents Black Friday? Possibly. Batman stood. He moved toward the second body. A man was lying several feet away. A turkey had been placed over his head. Batman stared at it. Thanksgiving. Montoya nodded slowly. That's what I thought. Batman looked at the victim. Was he killed here? Appears so. Batman studied the body. Then he looked toward the third. A man was lying face down. His back had been badly beaten. Batman crouched. He examined the man's spine. Montoya approached. This one is worse. Batman looked at the injuries. His back. Exactly. Batman looked toward the calendar on a nearby storefront. December 5th. He slowly stood. December 5th. Montoya looked at him. You think that's significant? Batman nodded. National Black Friday. Montoya frowned. The Friday after Black Friday. Yes. Batman looked at the 3 victims. Black Friday. He pointed toward the 2nd victim. Thanksgiving. Then the 3rd. National Black Friday. Montoya stared at the bodies. So the killer is continuing the pattern. Batman didn't answer immediately. He looked around the crime scene, the placement, the objects, the date, the symbolism. Everything was deliberate. The killer wasn't just killing people. The killer was creating a calendar. Batman walked slowly around the area. He examined the pavement. Nothing. The nearby buildings. Nothing. A discarded piece of paper. Nothing. A footprint. Possibly. He crouched. There was a partial shoe print in the dirt. Batman took a small scanner from his belt. He scanned it. The information appeared inside his cowl. Size, tread pattern, direction. Batman saved the data. Montoya watched him. Anything? Possibly. Can you tell us? Batman looked at her. Yes. He pointed toward the alley. The killer probably left through there. Montoya looked toward the alley. Why? The footprint. Batman pointed toward the ground. There's only one clear print. The killer stepped there while leaving. Can we get anything from it? Your crime scene technicians can. Montoya nodded. Batman continued looking. He found another piece of evidence, a small scrap of paper. He picked it up carefully. There were several numbers written on it. Not a message, not a name, just numbers. Batman photographed it. He put the evidence in a small evidence bag. Then he handed it to Montoya. Give this to your lab. Montoya took it. You trust us with this? I trust you. Montoya looked at him. That answer seemed to catch her off guard. Batman turned toward the bodies. Make sure everything is documented. It will be. And don't let anyone remove anything until your technicians finish. Montoya nodded. Batman, he stopped. You think this is the same killer? Batman looked back. Yes. The holiday killer? Batman looked at the 3 victims. The calendar killer. Montoya stared at him. That's what the news is calling him now. Batman looked toward the dark skyline. Then they're finally paying attention. He fired his grapnel. Before leaving, Batman stopped. Montoya. Yeah? If you find anything connected to December 6th, Montoya looked at him, I'll call you. Batman disappeared into the darkness. The Batcave was quiet. Bruce removed his cowl. He placed it on the work table. Alfred approached. Another difficult evening, Master Bruce? Bruce walked toward the computer. 3 murders. 3? Same location. Alfred looked concerned. Was it the holiday killer? Yes. Bruce pulled up the photographs. Black Friday, Thanksgiving, National Black Friday. Alfred looked at the images. He's becoming more elaborate. He's escalating. Bruce zoomed in on the photographs. The killer is leaving symbols. To taunt you? Maybe. Bruce studied the evidence. Or maybe he's trying to tell me something. Alfred looked at him. What? I don't know yet. Bruce leaned back. The murders aren't in chronological order. Alfred nodded. You mentioned that before. Exactly. Bruce stared at the screen. That's what bothers me. Perhaps the killer isn't following the calendar. Bruce looked at him. Then what is he following? Alfred didn't answer. Neither did Bruce. The cave was silent. The computer displayed the 3 victims. Bruce finally spoke. We need to find out before tomorrow. Alfred sighed. Master Bruce. Bruce looked toward him. You've barely recovered from the Royal Hotel. I'm fine. You were thrown from a hotel. I'm fine enough. You fought Deathstroke. He's not here. And KG Beast. Bruce paused. Alfred raised an eyebrow. Bruce looked back toward the computer. I'm still standing. Alfred sighed. Unfortunately, that's usually your argument. Bruce almost smiled. Then he returned to the evidence. The calendar killer was still out there. And tomorrow would bring another date, another holiday, another murder, unless Batman could stop it. The next day, Wayne Enterprises. Bruce Wayne sat across from Harvey Dent. Harvey had a cup of coffee in his hand. He looked tired. Bruce smiled. You've been busy. Harvey chuckled. That's one way to put it. Bruce leaned back. I've heard you're considering running for mayor. Harvey raised an eyebrow. News travels fast. You're thinking about it. I am. Why? Harvey looked through the window toward Gotham. Because somebody has to try. Bruce nodded. Gotham needs someone who actually believes it can be better. Harvey looked at him. You think I'm that person? I think you could be. Harvey smiled. That's quite a vote of confidence. Bruce leaned forward. I'd like to help. Harvey looked surprised. How? Money. Harvey laughed. I figured you'd say that. Wayne Enterprises can support your campaign. Harvey's expression became serious. You really want me to run? Yes. Why? Bruce looked toward the city. Because he knew what Gotham looked like at night. He knew what happened in its alleys. He knew there were people who needed someone to fight for them. But Harvey Dent didn't need to know about the Batman. Not yet. Bruce looked back at him. Gotham needs better people in positions of power. Harvey smiled. You know, Bruce, for a billionaire playboy, you occasionally say something intelligent. Bruce smiled. Occasionally? Don't push it. They shook hands. Outside, Gotham continued moving. People went to work, cars drove through the streets, children walked to school, and somewhere in the city, someone was already thinking about December 6th. Another holiday, another victim, another piece of the calendar. And Batman was already looking for the next page. End. Green Arrow, The Emerald Archer #4, The Terminator, Earth 1, Saga 1, God's Monsters and Mortals. Part 1, Mortals. Part 3. The rain came down. Green Arrow, The Emerald Archer #4. The Terminator, Earth 1, Saga 1, God's Monsters and Mortals. Part 1, Mortals. Part 3. The rain came down hard over Star City. Oliver Queen stood on the roof of an apartment building, looking at the piece of paper in his hand. Another name from his father's list. Another criminal his father had known. Another man Oliver intended to bring down. The name at the top of the page was Vincent Maroney, a local mob boss who had spent years running illegal gambling operations, weapons trafficking, and protection rackets throughout Star City. Oliver had been tracking him for days. Tonight, he was finally going to make his move. Green Arrow pulled his hood over his head. Let's see what kind of mess my father left behind this time. He fired his grappling arrow. The line caught the next building. Oliver swung across the street. The building was supposed to be Maroney's latest hideout. Instead, Oliver found the front door wide open. He entered. The place was silent. Too silent.
I fixed it.
Green Arrow, The Emerald Archer #4, The Terminator, Earth 1, Saga 1, God's Monsters and Mortals, Part 1, Mortals, Part 3. Star City was getting colder. Oliver Queen stood on a rooftop overlooking the downtown district, his bow resting against his shoulder. In his hand was the list. His father's list. Names, dozens of them. Criminals his father had known. Men Oliver had promised himself he would bring down. He crossed another name off. Then he looked at the next one. Marcus Bell, mob boss, smuggler, weapons dealer. Oliver had been tracking him for weeks. Tonight, he was finally going to make his move. Oliver pulled his hood over his head. Time to cross another one off. He fired his grappling arrow. The line caught a nearby building. Oliver swung into the night. Marcus Bell's warehouse was supposed to be heavily guarded. It wasn't. Oliver landed on the roof. No guards, no cars, no movement. He slowly entered. The warehouse was silent. Oliver pulled an arrow from his quiver. Marcus? Nothing. He walked deeper inside. Then he saw him. Marcus Bell was sitting in a chair, dead. Oliver stopped. He slowly approached. One precise wound. No struggle, no broken furniture, no signs of a robbery. Oliver crouched beside the body. Someone got here first. He searched the room. Nothing. No weapon, no footprints that hadn't already been disturbed. Oliver stood. Who killed you? There was no answer. The next morning, Oliver was looking at another name. Daniel Crow, another mob boss, another weapons trafficker, another man connected to Oliver's father's old criminal network. Oliver tracked him to a private residence. He found Crow dead. Same thing. One precise wound, no robbery, no struggle, no witnesses. Oliver stared at the body. Okay, he pulled out his notebook. Marcus Bell, dead. Daniel Crow, dead. He added another name, Vincent Marr. 3 hours later, Vincent Marr was dead too. Oliver stood over the third body. His expression had changed. This wasn't coincidence. Someone was killing the people on his... And whoever it was, they were very good. Oliver closed his notebook. 3. He looked at the next name. Richard Vale, another mob boss, another name from his father's list. Oliver stared at it. If you're going after these people... He put the notebook away. You're going to him next. That night, Oliver reached Richard Vale's warehouse. He entered through the roof. Nothing. No guards. No sounds. Oliver slowly lowered himself into the building. Then he saw the body, Richard Vale, dead. 4. Oliver approached cautiously. He examined the body. Same wound, same precision, same lack of evidence. Oliver stood. All right, he looked around. Whoever you are, a voice answered from the darkness. You've been following me. Oliver immediately drew his bow. A figure stepped out, orange and black armor, a sword on his back, a weapon in his hand. Oliver narrowed his eyes. Who are you? The man stared at him through his mask. Deathstroke. Oliver raised his bow. That's a stupid name. Deathstroke tilted his head. You won't be saying that in a minute. Oliver fired. Deathstroke moved. The arrow struck the wall. Deathstroke charged. Oliver fired another arrow. Deathstroke knocked it aside. Oliver fired again. Deathstroke ducked. Then he was on him. Oliver dropped his bow and blocked a punch. Deathstroke punched again. Oliver ducked. Oliver kicked him in the stomach. Deathstroke stumbled. Oliver grabbed his bow. He fired at close range. Deathstroke knocked the arrow away. Oliver backed up. Deathstroke drew his sword. Oliver's eyes widened. Okay. He pulled an arrow. That's cheating. Deathstroke swung. Oliver ducked. The blade cut through a wooden crate. Oliver fired an explosive arrow. Deathstroke jumped away. The explosion rocked the warehouse. Oliver fired another. Deathstroke rolled. Oliver charged. He swung the bow like a staff. Deathstroke blocked. Oliver struck again. Deathstroke caught the bow. The two struggled. Deathstroke headbutted him. Oliver staggered. Deathstroke kicked him. Oliver fell against a crate. Deathstroke approached. Oliver fired an arrow directly at his face. Deathstroke moved at the last second. The arrow grazed his mask. Oliver smiled. Got you. Deathstroke looked at the damaged mask. Then at Oliver. You fight well. Oliver stood. So do you. Deathstroke charged again. Oliver blocked his punch. Deathstroke grabbed his arm. Oliver twisted. He used Deathstroke's momentum to throw him over his shoulder. Deathstroke landed on his feet. Oliver stared. You're kidding. Deathstroke rushed him. Oliver fired an arrow. Deathstroke caught it. Oliver blinked. Deathstroke threw it aside. Oliver barely blocked the next punch. Deathstroke hit him again. Oliver stumbled. Deathstroke kicked. Oliver rolled beneath it. Oliver grabbed a loose cable from the floor and fired an arrow through it. The cable wrapped around Deathstroke's leg. Oliver pulled. Deathstroke fell. Oliver rushed forward. He kicked Deathstroke's sword away. Then he aimed an arrow at him. Stay down. Deathstroke looked at him. You should have brought more arrows. Oliver frowned. What? Deathstroke pulled a knife. He cut the cable, then threw the knife. Oliver dodged. Deathstroke grabbed his sword. Oliver fired. Deathstroke deflected the arrow. Then smoke filled the warehouse. Oliver coughed. Seriously? He fired blindly. Nothing. The smoke cleared. Deathstroke was gone. Oliver stood alone. He looked around. Great. He lowered his bow. Then he noticed something on the floor. A small piece of metal. A bullet casing. Oliver picked it up. He examined it. Military? He put it in his pocket. Says nah. Then he looked at the 4 bodies. Marcus Bell, Daniel Crow, Vincent Marr, Richard Vale. All criminals. All people. Oliver had intended to take down himself. Someone had beaten him to them. Oliver looked toward the broken window where Deathstroke had escaped. You're not just some random assassin. Oliver thought about Onomatopoeia, the assassin Count Vertigo had hired, the man Oliver still couldn't find. He looked down at the casing. Could be. Oliver put it away. If you're cleaning up the same kind of people? He looked toward the night sky. Maybe Vertigo hired you too. But there was one problem. Oliver still had absolutely no idea where Count Vertigo was. No location, no hideout, no trail, nothing. Oliver picked up his bow. Guess I have another mystery. He fired his grappling arrow. The line caught the roof. Oliver disappeared into the darkness. And somewhere in Star City, Deathstroke watched from another rooftop. He looked back toward the warehouse. Green arrow. Interesting. Deathstroke had expected another ordinary vigilante. Instead, he had found someone who could actually fight. He turned away. His next contract was waiting. And Green Arrow had just learned that Star City's criminal underworld wasn't the only thing hunting its prey. End. Gotham City Police, Season 2, Number 1. Namhalish, The Holiday Killer Task Force. Earth 1, Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 3. Gotham City never really slept. It only changed shifts. Rain fell over the streets as the Gotham City Police Department stood against the dark skyline, its windows glowing against the night. Inside, officers moved through the halls carrying folders, coffee, evidence bags, and paperwork. The usual noise of the department filled the building. Phones ringing, detectives arguing, typewriters clicking, radios crackling, and somewhere down the hall, 2 officers were talking while walking past the front desk. "Did you hear Borelli's taking his holiday break?" "Yeah." "Can't blame him? Apparently he's going out of town." "Smart man." They disappeared around the corner. At the front desk, another officer answered a ringing telephone. Central, Gotham City Police Department. The city kept moving, but one case had started taking over everything. The holiday killer. Or as the newspapers had started calling him, the calendar killer. Harvey Bullock was sitting in the break room. He wasn't looking at a crime scene photograph. He wasn't reading a report. He wasn't interrogating anybody. He was watching baseball. The Gotham Knights were playing. Bullock leaned closer to the television. "Come on!" On the screen, the Gotham Knights were facing an unusual visiting team. The opposing players were dressed like professional luchadors, complete with colorful masks. A caption appeared at the bottom of the screen: "Skull City, Special Exhibition Team." Bullock took a sip of coffee. "Since when does Skull City have a baseball team?" A nearby officer shrugged. "Since today, apparently." Bullock looked back at the television. "City gets crazier every damn day." The Knights player swung. "Strike 3, Bullock groaned. "You gotta be kidding me." Then a voice came from the doorway. "Bullock?" Harvey didn't look away from the television. "Yeah? Captain wants you." Bullock sighed. "Of course he does." He turned off the television. Every time something good happens, he stood. Gordon finds a way to ruin it. The conference room was already occupied. Captain James Gordon stood at the head of the table. Several photographs were spread across it. Black Friday, Thanksgiving, National Back Friday, National Special Education Day, National Package Protection Day, Wildlife Conservation Day, and the murders that followed. Renee Montoya sat on one side of the table. Crispus Allen sat beside her. Andrew Dove was going through a folder. Arnold Flass leaned back in his chair. Harvey Bullock entered last. He looked around. "What's this?" Gordon looked at him. "Sit down." Bullock pulled out a chair. "So this is about the holiday killer." Gordon nodded. "It is." Montoya looked at the photographs. "We've got too many victims." Allen opened another folder. "And too many patterns." Andrew Dove placed several photographs beside the others. "Different methods. Different victims," Montoya added. "Different locations," Allen said. "But the same thing keeps showing up." Gordon pointed toward the calendar on the wall. "Dates." Bullock looked at the photographs. "So we're dealing with a lunatic who's obsessed with holidays." "National holidays," Montoya corrected. "Not necessarily the major ones." Gordon nodded. "That's what makes this difficult." Flass finally spoke. "Or maybe we're overthinking it." Everyone looked at him. Flass shrugged. "Maybe it's just some nutcase picking random days." Montoya shook her head. "No." Flass looked at her. "How do you know?" "Because random killers don't usually stage bodies around specific themes." Gordon looked at Montoya. "Exactly." He placed another photograph on the table. "The killer isn't simply choosing a date." He pointed toward the photograph. "They're building the crime around the date." Crispus Allen studied the picture. "Which means the killer knows these holidays beforehand." Andrew Dove nodded, "Meaning they could be planning the murders weeks or even months ahead." The room went quiet. Bullock rubbed his face. "Wonderful." Gordon looked at him. "Harvey? Yeah? You've worked some of these scenes." Bullock looked at the photographs. "I've worked too many of them." Gordon nodded. "That's why you're here." Bullock looked at everyone around the table. "So what's the plan?" Gordon walked to the board. "We're putting together a permanent task force." He wrote, "Holiday Killer Task Force." Underneath it, he wrote their names: James Gordon, Renee Montoya, Crispus Allen, Andrew Dove, Harvey Bullock, Arnold Flass. Gordon turned around. "From now on, anything connected to these murders comes through us." Flass looked at the board. "And what exactly are we looking for?" Gordon stared at the photographs. "Everything." He pointed toward Montoya. "Montoya, you handle victim connections." She nodded. "Allen, you go through the crime scenes and look for similarities we might have missed." "Got it." "Dove, I want you working with the records department. Dates, holidays, local events, anything that could give us a pattern." Andrew nodded. Understood. Gordon looked at Bullock. You're on the physical evidence and witnesses. Bullock nodded. And Flass? Gordon paused. You're with me. Flass nodded. Bullock looked at Gordon. Captain? Yeah? One question. Gordon looked at him. What's that? Why now? Gordon didn't answer immediately. He looked through the conference room window. Outside, Gotham continued glowing beneath the rain. Cars moved through the streets, people walked beneath umbrellas, a city trying desperately to pretend everything was normal. Blast! Finally, Gordon said, because the killer hasn't stopped. Everyone became quiet. Gordon continued, and if we're right, they aren't going to stop. Montoya looked at the photographs. What about the Batman? The room went silent. Bullock looked toward her. Flass rolled his eyes. You believe that story? Montoya looked at him. I've seen enough to know he's real. Flass scoffed. Or you've seen a guy in a costume. Gordon raised his hand. Enough. Everyone stopped. Gordon looked at Montoya. We don't have enough evidence to involve him. Montoya nodded. And we don't know if he's connected. Correct. Bullock leaned back. Besides, if the Bat really exists, he's probably got his own investigation going. Gordon looked at him. Maybe. Bullock frowned. You don't sound convinced. I'm not. Gordon looked at the photographs again. The last thing we need is to assume someone else is going to solve this. He gathered the files. We're the police. He looked around the room. These murders are our responsibility. No one spoke. Then Gordon placed the first folder in the center of the table. Holiday killer. Active case. Let's find this bastard. Hours later, the conference room was empty. The photographs remained on the board. Dates, victims, locations, holidays, connections that didn't seem connected. A calendar filled with red markings. Outside, Gotham continued to rain. Inside the GCPD, Captain James Gordon stood alone in front of the board. He stared at the dates. Something wasn't right. The killer wasn't simply celebrating holidays. They were choosing them, picking them, planning around them. Gordon slowly reached for a marker. He circled the next date on the calendar, December 6th. He stared at it, then at the photographs. Who are you? The only answer was the sound of rain against the window. Gordon turned off the lights. The board disappeared into darkness, but the dates remained visible beneath the faint glow of the hallway. The investigation had officially begun, and somewhere in Gotham, the calendar killer was already planning the next holiday. End. Gotham City Police, Season 2, Number 2, Black Friday. Earth 1, Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 3. Rain fell over Gotham, not hard, just enough to make the streets shine under the streetlights. Captain James Gordon stood beneath an umbrella, staring at the crime scene. Renee Montoya stood beside him. The yellow police tape moved slightly in the wind. Neither of them spoke for a moment. 3 bodies, 3 symbols, 1 killer. Gordon finally said, Black Friday. Montoya nodded. The woman in the shopping cart. Gordon looked toward the cart. That's our first victim. Montoya opened her notebook. Female. No identification on her yet. No obvious signs of robbery. Gordon crouched beside the cart. Which makes the cart the message? Montoya looked around. She wasn't killed because she was shopping. No. Gordon examined the wheels. The killer wanted us to see this. Montoya wrote something down. Black Friday. Gordon stood. And Thanksgiving. They looked toward the second body. A dead man with a turkey placed over his head. Montoya frowned. That's almost theatrical. Almost. She looked at him. Gordon gave her a tired look. You're right. He walked toward the third victim. The man's back had been badly beaten. Montoya followed. December 5th. Gordon nodded. National Black Friday. Montoya closed her notebook. 3 victims, 3 symbols, and 3 dates. Gordon looked toward the street. Which means the killer isn't just choosing holidays. Montoya finished his thought. They're building murders around them. Gordon nodded. Exactly. A police officer approached. Captain? Gordon turned. We found something. What? The officer handed him an evidence bag. Inside was a small piece of paper. Gordon examined it. Nothing but several numbers. Montoya looked over his shoulder. What do you think? Don't know yet. Gordon handed it back. Get it to the lab. The officer left. Montoya looked at Gordon. You think the numbers mean something? I think everything this killer leaves behind means something. Gordon looked at the bodies again, but we just haven't figured out what. Montoya stared at the crime scene. 3 people dead because someone wanted to celebrate a holiday. Gordon shook his head. No. Montoya looked at him. The killer isn't celebrating. Gordon looked into the dark Gotham Street. They're sending us a message. A police radio crackled behind them. Another call, another crime. Gordon sighed. Let's hope we figure out what they're saying before they send another one. Montoya nodded. The 2 detectives walked away from the crime scene as the rain continued falling. Behind them, the bodies remained beneath the white sheets. 3 victims, 3 holidays. And somewhere in Gotham, a calendar was waiting for its next date. End. Gotham City Police, Season 2, Number 3, Thanksgiving, Earth 1, Saga 1, Gods, Monsters, and Mortals, Part 3. The rain had stopped. The streets were still wet. Gotham's streetlights reflected across the pavement like broken pieces of glass. Detectives Crispus Allen and Andrew Dove stood behind the police tape. The second victim was still there. A dead man, a turkey placed over his head. Dove stared at the scene. Whoever did this wanted us to notice the turkey. Allen nodded. Thanksgiving. Dove looked at his notebook. December 5th, but Thanksgiving was weeks ago. Exactly. Allen crouched beside the body, which means the killer isn't necessarily killing people on the holiday itself. Dove looked around. So why Thanksgiving? Allen examined the ground. Symbolism. That's all we've got? For now. Allen carefully examined the turkey. Real. Dove frowned. That's disturbing. Allen stood. Everything about this case is disturbing. Dove walked around the body. No wallet, no phone, no identification. Nothing? Allen shook his head. Whoever he was, the killer made sure there was nothing obvious. Dove looked toward the nearby buildings. Any witnesses? One person heard a car. Description? Dark sedan. Dove sighed. Gotham has about 1 million of those. Allen looked back at the victim. Maybe the car isn't important. Dove looked at him. What is? Allen pointed toward the turkey. The message. Dove nodded. Thanksgiving. Allen looked at the calendar written on his evidence board. Black Friday. Then he looked at the body. Thanksgiving. Then toward the direction of the third victim. National Back Friday. Dove slowly realized what Allen was thinking. He's building a sequence. Maybe. And if we're right, Allen stood, there'll be another one. Dove closed his notebook. Then we'd better figure out what comes next. Allen looked at the dark street. Before the killer does. The 2 detectives walked away. Behind them, the evidence technicians continued photographing the scene. Another body, another holiday, another piece of the puzzle, and somewhere in Gotham, someone was already turning the page on the calendar. End.